Hello, my opulent observers, and welcome to another marvelously majestic episode of Hey Qween, with me, your host, Jonny McGovern. Today's show is going to be an extravaganza, darling. Our guest has been on the scene for quite some time, and honey, she has made her mark. She sparkles brighter than a diamond, brighter than the sparkle couch, and you're all gonna fall in love. I'm talking about, of course, the queen of the hair flip, Miss Sasha Colby, here today. But before she parades her flawlessness on out here, there are two children just waiting to cut loose. It's my emotional support orchestra, Adam Joseph and Erickatoure.
Hey, 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 Queen.
Well, where is Shug Avery when you need her? I was just at the juke joint with the two of you.
I'm married now.
Exactly. This juke joint sure looks fancy. My goodness. Oh, well, the two of you, our season is almost complete. Can you believe it?
We made it through, honey.
We made it through the wilderness.
Right. Thank you for speaking the last word so we don't have to pay for that. Thank you very much. My shock is that we still have not run out of different colored bang pieces for Adam Joseph.
Hey. 9 for $5 each? Yes, please.
All right.
I'll
now,
take it.
before we go to break, there's one thing that we're all dying for, and that is Erickatoure to spin like a cupcake. Wow! Now that is festive. Festive enough for you two. Hit it!
Sasha Colby, you know that we live. She's on Hey Qween, hair flip.
And we'll be back with Sasha right after this very gay break. Our guest today is a dancing diva whose hair flip rivals them all. Please welcome the gorgeous Sasha Colby.
Sasha Colby, you know that we live. She's on Hey Qween, hair flip.
Yeah! We got it right off the bat. Hooray!
Yes.
Hey, Queen.
Hey, Queen.
What a delight to finally get you here.
No, it's been forever. My goodness, it's been a few years.
It has. We had you in many years ago for like a little mini segment.
Yeah.
And then we almost had you on another time. Then we had scheduling problems, but finally you're here. You waited till we had the biggest, fanciest studio, and finally you made it.
Yes, we got a little bigger apartment this time.
Yes, just like a normal apartment with a normal window.
I've been looking for this swatch. I have.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Oh, well, Sasha, there's no time to waste. It's time to get into the tea. You have been a cast member of Nightgowns with Sasha Velour from before the quarantine to the moment when it got onto Quibi and now. Yeah. Tell me all about that project.
Oh, well, I mean, I was just so blessed to have Sasha Velour reach out, and she asked if I would be in her, I believe it was like for Pride, or for DragCon here sometime. And
right,
she
I
had
remember that,
yeah. She had a show at the Ace Hotel, and she had a few of us, like local LA girls, guest spot, and I knew, I was like, I'm gonna make a number so good. She's gonna ask me to be like on the cast. And I was like, that's a lot to ask, but I don't know how it worked, but it worked.
What was that number that night?
It was called My Mind. You can check it out on YouTube, My Mind. Yeah, it was just kind of like a more acting, heartfelt, like really like tear your guts out kind of number, but I feel like it was like a lyrical, like a stripper lyrical, if you think about it. Like yes. the girl's heartbroken, but I had to, you have to remind yourself and whoever broke your heart how sickening you are, you know?
Yeah.
With a few flips, never hurt.
Of course. I mean, you're the queen of the West Hollywood hair flip, sweetie. You're Miss Continental, of course, where hair flips are the law. But being able to be in Nightgowns must have given you a chance to kind of dive a little deeper to some of the numbers that you do.
It really did. It was nice because, you know, a lot of time in drag, we just have, like, you know, we're in a nightclub setting or we're in a restaurant where it's almost as if they have it as drag as an afterthought, you know, and it's like people sometimes are like over it watching the drag show because they just want to get drunk. But this was a nice venue where everyone was there to see a show and everybody was like seated. It was a theater style, so it really honored like the craft, which I love.
Now, when the show went on to Quibi, we know Quibi has now gone under, but
Rest in peace.
right after it got season 2 got renewed for
I
nightgowns.
know, it was like right there.
Oh,
Right
but
there.
we still will always have these episodes. What was it like filming that version for TV?
It was a lot of fun, and how we figured out what to do with like each little episode that showcased us. It was great, like how we just showed a day in the life of each of us cast members, and then at the end, how we really do and put on a show, or like the inner workings of a drag number. It gave a behind-the-scenes look, and then we had just the most amazing production, the most caring documentary group that really made us feel safe to tell a queer story, and really, I felt like so special having like a number for you and like these lights and a really like amazing concept that you didn't have to compromise anything. You could really like show a true vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what has it been like working with Sasha? Because you did go on tour with Nightgowns, right? You've done a
Did.
lot of shows,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you got to know her a little better. What is working with her like, and what's the vision of Nightgowns and what makes it so special?
I love her so much. She's just like, she's a dream. She's just like a intellectual, you know, weird, like nerd, just like me. And we love, you know, history, fashion history, art. And she really shows all her loves in how she presents herself and how she loves and presents us. And I feel like we all have something different to offer, which is really great. It shows a big spectrum of different types of drag. She really is just so nurturing and really fun to be around. Just really like calming.
Ready somewhere so you can put your best foot forward when those
Yeah.
lights go up.
Yeah, you feel really cared for. So then you want to like express it, maybe even try something different, which is always great. But that was the whole basis of Nightgowns. When she started in Brooklyn, it was very like grassroots. It was in like this little hut of a club, and they made it work, and it slowly expanded. And she's been lucky enough to use her platform and her influence to really push her, like, I guess you could call it like her passion project forward and bring other drag artists forward.
Yeah. Now, we know you are a supremely talented drag artist. You've snatched crowns, snatched titles, snatched hearts everywhere you perform.
Snatched a few wigs.
Yes, you have, sweetie. I wanted to get your take on the current state of drag today. Now, we all know how important trans performers have been to the art of drag and the beginning of it all, yet it still hasn't been accepted on Drag Race necessarily, and it's still sometimes an education for people who are not as familiar with the inner workings of drag. What are your thoughts on that, and what do people need to remember?
I mean, I've personally have been doing drag for 20 years now, and I have seen myself have to explain my existence in drag, not to just like cisgender people, but to also, you know, people in our own community. And I realize that I have to be a teaching tool or a source of at least knowledge if I'm going to really love this and want to pursue this. I want to be teaching people that drag was just the form. It's actually the oldest form of theater. You know, it was actually based on misogyny and like, you know, not having women be a part of it.
Yeah.
And it was so fringe that it made the queer culture just want to gravitate to it. And of course, naturally, doing drag for me made me realize that I was a girl and I didn't want to take off the drag. And it just kind of always coincided with me with dance and performing, and then wanting, you know, to be comfortable in my skin, and realizing that all that came from drag, and just thank goodness, like the common sense to know that I'm, you know, queer and like accepting myself. But that's what drag means to a lot of trans women. And I've grown up in Hawaii where trans drag is pretty like common. I've lived in Chicago where trans drag is common. Orlando.
I mean, all around the world.
Except
like that.
this like little sliver we call California.
Yeah, exactly.
But and even when I moved here, a lot of people were like, well, you're not gonna get any work, honey. But I was like, performance is performance. We're talking about art, hopefully, you know. It's a different machine now. It's definitely, it's like its own, I wouldn't say monster, but like a money-making machine, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a conglomerate where you forget the intention of why we put on drag and why we do shows. It's not for fame. It's not for, you know, accolades or even crowns. They're great and like motivating for sure, but why you do it is something so personal. It's so vulnerable, and then you get to share it with people that get you. And it's the one thing I can say is that it's really nice to have that open up. Like, it's not just contained to a club. People want and like are dying for something. They're dying for stories. Like, they're dying to hear that they belong or like they can relate to someone. So I like that drag is doing that now, for sure.
Yes. All right, well, throw your hands up in the air, Sasha, because we're about to go back in the time machine. Whoa! 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 Hair flip!
I'm good at every single one.
Anytime I can get near your hair flip, sweetie, I love it. Oh, wait, we're here in Hawaii. Look, and there's little Sasha running through the beach. Now, you were raised Jehovah's Witness in Hawaii.
Yeah.
What was it like as a kid?
Well, Hawaii in general is just beautiful. And in Hawaiian culture, there is a space for trans people until more like modern times, more so Christianity and religion came in and said that there was only, you know, binary roles. So somewhere in my blood, I know that my heritage understands what being queer and being of both sexes, because what is more divine than both knowing both?
Yeah.
It's wild that I knew that, and whatever God or people want to call it, source or the universe, something told me that I was supposed to be like this, and I'm supposed to be in this, live this life for a reason. And really being a Jehovah's Witness, we're growing up in that atmosphere. It just kind of made my own queerness shine more and like scream out more, because I just knew that this was so wrong and like just so like weird. Like, you're telling me my natural instincts is just wrong, is gonna send me to damnation, but someone else who's doing like not that bad of a thing will be okay. Like, it was very selective and very you know, homophobic for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
And does that mean no birthday parties and no things like that?
And then that, right?
Yeah, sheesh.
Like, not even a party or anything. No, I couldn't go over like anyone's house. No, there was no Christmas. I think the first birthday I celebrated was probably 16, and I was scared. And my friends were like, "We're taking you to dinner," and that's the first like birthday candle I ever blew out. And
Wow.
yeah, it was just like an awakening. It was like being gay and like having like all the things that you were deprived.
Yeah.
Hello, children.